you are on your own. And this is not just, it's worse when it comes to Asians, Indians, because it's a big stigma. Oh, look at that child. Something wrong with that child. They won't let their families or their children near them children. People pull their children away from they act as though it's a contagious disease.
Thank you for clicking on the link, and welcome back to the Global Indian Series, the platform for people of Indian origin, because let's face it, we are everywhere. Welcome back to the show. As you would have seen, you came here to find out more about this remarkable story about a father and his fight to ensure a better society for his child with autism. This is probably by far one of the most emotive podcasts I've done so far, and it was incredibly difficult, in all honesty, not because of the content of it, but the context in which our guest finds himself in. If we talk about the fragility of life as it is, I think there's no biggest fear for a parent to have somebody judge your child, let alone to actually discriminate against them. And I think what you'll find here is going to be a challenging conversation, because it's also going to hold up a mirror to yourself and to society in general to say, what more are we willing to do to make a fairer, respectful, and open community that we desire to see? Thank you for getting involved in the Global Indian Series, and I'd like to say thank you to our wonderful supporters out there, including ShareMe.com, the app for all your beauty, wellness and fitness needs. With everyone's support, we're able to create a living encyclopedia that plunges into the human experience of what's it like to be a person of Indian origin, take a second look at the countries we now call home, and thirdly, tackle the big conversations we need to know more about. I hope you enjoy this session.
And just move. Get up 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 and just.
I find when you are a family with a child that has a disability, and you are on your own, and this is not just, it's worse when it comes to Asians, Indians, because it's a big stigma. Oh, look at that child. Something wrong with that child. They won't let their families or their children near them children. People pull their children away from they act as though it's a contagious disease. That you touch all of a sudden you're going to become autistic. I understand Dia's quite high on the spectrum. She's pretty much non-verbal, so she can't say what she wants and let people know what she wants. So she does it, not sign language, but she does it in ways that we as parents, we do understand. And my mother, who's absolutely awesome with Dia as well. But in general, people, be it family, be it friends, they tend to be, it's as though they're afraid to be anywhere near her, which in turn means that they come nowhere near us because we are one.
Yeah.
So that's how it comes across. They may not be, they may feel they just want to give us space, but they don't realize by doing that, they're just away from us. And we can literally count on one hand how many people we socialize throughout the year.
And that's a normal year prior to COVID. And
prior to COVID, yeah. It's been no different during COVID for us. We are a very lonely family, down to the fact that we have Dia with us.
Has it always been that way?
Yeah. Yeah, since Dia's been possibly about 8 years old, when she starts showing the severity levels where she's at now. Yes, it's been that way. People have sort of just backed away.
What's it like for you? What's the community's reaction? Because I know when we spoke, normally we think of being Indian or the religious affinities that go in that, whichever side or ism that you're part of. But you recounted the story that you went to the holy sanctums of places for people. Either you went to the mandir or the gurdwara.
Hmm.
What was that experience like for you? Because it seemed we go there for weddings and funerals and everything else. It's a place of peace, but it should be a place of acceptance, right?
It should be. These places are meant to be all-encompassing. You can walk in and you should be able to sit there and express yourself, be at one with whoever you believe in. We took Diya. We've had it a couple of times now. We've taken Diya, and the priests or the people sort of that are in charge have sort of shooed us off because Diya makes noises and stuff. So they've sort of said, no, take her outside, keep her outside, don't bring her in here, don't do this, don't do that. And this is kind of what we get most places we go to. People are not willing to accept her. People are not willing to deal with her. So, yeah, we feel very lonely as a family, no matter where we go, no matter what we do. The only way we can go out is if Diya acts the way Diya wants to act. We have to give in to every wish that she has. Sometimes what she requests is dangerous, so we have to say no. And at that point, the moment we say no, she has a full-blown meltdown there and then. And all of a sudden, we have a crowd around us. It becomes like a circus show for people. Cameras come out, people stand there with cameras, and they're trying to make videos of Diya hitting herself, banging her head on the floor. This is a typical meltdown. She hits her face, she bangs her head against shelves or floors, or the floor, sorry, even. And people stand there, and me and my wife have now become accustomed to this, and we sort of ignore what's going on around us and try to control Diya. But I remember initially, I got so angry, I actually went for someone. What do you think you're doing? If you can't help us, walk away, just turn away and go. Because all you're doing is creating more of a scene and making it harder for us to deal with as parents.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that. For them, it's a show.
Do you think there's enough awareness of autism within the community as a whole, or is it something that we just hush and push aside?
I think Rajan, that's a very difficult one because people are aware of this. People do know of it. It's not like it was 15, 20 years ago. People know of autism now. People have watched many movies about it and so forth. They just, because it's not something that affects them directly, they look down at you when you have something like that. It's not as if they don't know about it. That's impossible now. In today's day and age, not knowing about autism is absolutely impossible.
Yeah. So no one can claim ignorance, and it's just a
fact.
No,
I think it's impossible to claim ignorance. If you're on Facebook, every other page that comes up has something to do with autism on there.
So what do you think is the reluctance then from within the community, from your experience, to say, look, we're happy to use this word of identity and community when it's a wedding or a cricket match or any other thing that we fly these different colors of choice and we say, great, this is us as a community. But when we need the community the most, it seems it doesn't exist. It has its own separateness. And you're in that situation now, aren't you?
Completely. When it's something that becomes a difficult situation, there's no such thing as community or family. Everyone all of a sudden becomes busy within themselves. Well, I'm not interested in what's going on in your house. You're on your own, you can deal with it. You're a man, you can deal with it.
I suppose that's tough as well because they're thinking, well, you're a head, quote unquote, head of the family. You know, it's a duty of a guy. You should be strong. You should be able to deal with this. But
that's what everyone thinks, especially I find Indians in general or Asians in general. We have this mentality that the man should be dealing with it all. There's only so much anyone can deal with. Your shoulders can only take so much before you start weakening. you mentally, there's times where I'm mentally so fried, I don't know what's going on.
How much of an impact, because we know, I think there's enough articles out there about how to spot the signs of autism, how to help kids with autism, but what's it like for you, for your marriage, for your day-to-day living? Because we often neglect the needs of the parents, the people that are there, because you're living with this 24/7.
Yeah.
And this is the rest of your life that you're saying, I need to be fit, I need to be healthy, because you have to be there for your kids all the way through.
You do. This is where it becomes so difficult for us as opposed to normal parents, where, oh, my kid's gonna grow up, get married, go get a job, do whatever. Our daughter, she cannot wash, she cannot clean herself, she cannot dress herself, she cannot do anything. So as long as we're alive, we have to be there for her, and we have to do it. Think of it this way, Rajan. As parents, me and my wife, literally, it's horrible, but we prayed that our daughter dies before us, because we don't think anyone else will have it in them to look after her the way we do.
Because your biggest fear is you're there, and if you're not there, and no one else is going to be able to understand her, nobody else is going to be able to work with that and give her the love that she requires, because she just becomes another number.
When there's an odd day where either myself or my wife are not there, we both find out how difficult it would be without either one of us. We both need to be there for Dia all the time. And sometimes it's not just for Dia, it's for our partner. We need to be there. So they can take the frustration out on the other partner, just because it's got so much. And Dia, bless her, doesn't realize what she does.
No.
So as a partner, for example, myself, I would then know that, okay, my wife is at a point where she's struggling, I'll step in. But as a third person, they wouldn't understand this. They wouldn't, even if, I don't think anyone would want to understand. I don't think anyone wants to get involved. The understanding of autism is there, but people just don't want to get involved.
Are you saying that the support isn't there then?
No, the support isn't there, be it from authorities or from family.
Where has it gone wrong, in your opinion? Because it's strange. We hear about there's a lot of charities around autism. We see it as in groups. It's different affiliated groups, whether you're religious or non-religious. As people of Indian origin or British Asians, UK or professional, we're all there to support one another. But you're in this position where you're crying out for help. You're saying, look, I need help. I need support that goes much further than just wearing a t-shirt. It's saying, I need somebody to actively help. But I don't understand, why is it falling on deaf ears? Is it that, like, in all fairness, is it for you the catharsis, saying, look, I've asked enough that I can no longer ask anymore? Or is it genuinely that people it's a numbers game? They say all this right stuff, they show all the right stuff, but the reality is the infrastructure there isn't there to actually help people when they need the help the most.
I'm yet to come across someone, and we deal with a lot of parents with children with autism and stuff like that. I'm yet to come across someone that's had help from a charity.
So just to put this in clarity for the audience, how old is Dia?
Dia is 15 years old.
So you've been working in and around this area for over 15 years, and you must have met parents over 15 years.
Yeah, we've known for 12 years now, Rajan. She was 3.
Years,
yeah, so since she was 3, we've been dealing with autism, be it our own daughter. We go to group meetings, you get coffee mornings, and we go to all of these. And funnily enough, they have professionals there. But me and Rahul end up giving people advice And at the end of the meetings, people are standing with us, talking to us and asking us for advice, as opposed to the professionals, because the professionals are there to sound good. Oh, you can do this and you can do that and you can do this. And then they look at us and they say, have you not tried it? We say, we have, but we've never had that help. We've had authorities come over. We have a social worker. He comes to the house every so often. He'll walk around the house, make sure everything in the house is in order. Oh, Dia has her own space. He'll open our fridge. He'll open our cupboards. Oh, yes, you have plenty of food. You have plenty of this. You have plenty of that. And we're like, what about help for Dia? Oh, no, I'm here just to make sure that Dia has what she needs. And that will be it. We had someone come with him 2 years ago, and he saw Dia had a meltdown, and I videoed it, and he watched this video. And he goes, oh, what we think Dia needs is a room where we can put Dia, which is padded. It sounds awful, but it's just a padded room, like a playroom, sensory room, where Dia can then calm down. There'll be lights in this room. Dia bangs her head against walls and she smashed a TV with her head. She hit it so hard. And she had an iPad. And through frustration, when the battery ran out, she hit the iPad against her head and cracked it in half, literally. That's how hard she hits herself. When this guy said, well, okay, we'll sort this out and we'll do this, we'll do that. We went through like a 30-page questionnaire and we went through all sorts of paperwork 2 years ago. And they go, okay, lovely, all done. We'll have it done for you. But oh, fantastic. Rajan, it's been 2 years and we've been chasing this department and we've had nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this is quite common. Really? People come in, educated people come in, sound good. Oh, well, what we need to do is this, this, and this. And we try to explain to them, we've tried these things. They don't work. And they just don't seem to understand this. And they all work from the same hymn sheet, as it were.
So you're kind of caught in a rock and a hard place, because on the other side, when you go to the community, I remember when we spoke before, some of the community's response is go see a priest, go get prayers done.
Yes, we've tried that as well. When we initially were told of the autism and the disorder and everything, we were in such a position that we were willing to try and do anything, literally anything. I'm not someone, you know me, I'm not someone that is, I'm religious, but I don't believe in going to priests and getting stuff read and done. We went to a priest in India when we went once, and she said, oh, no problem. She sat with Dia. Dia can be cured. It will cost you, I think it was in terms about between 20 and 25,000 rupees. It will cost you, everything will be done. We were just like, okay, we're willing to try, so we'll do it. We gave the priestess the money. What she done was she got a piece of Indian sweet besan, put some lemon in it, rubbed it in her hand, put it in Dia's mouth and goes, she'll be okay by tomorrow. No, nothing. We went to a homeopathic medicine person who's got a big name, very big name in India. Over a period of 2 years of us giving Dia these dried powders, we didn't know whether they were medicines or what they were, but this lady was giving us, she extracted phenomenal amounts of money from us, but it made absolutely no difference. She was determined, oh, it will work, you just have to give me this much more, you have to give me this much more. These people see someone in need and in distress, and they will do whatever they can to extract money from you, because they know because you're in distress, you will do it. And now we've got to a point where, as a husband and wife team, we refuse to go to these people. We refuse to talk to these people now because it's been that difficult. And we've,
I can imagine it is difficult, because it seems the only time that the community is offered help is when they want money to do something for you.
Yeah.
But when it's actually say, look, if we are to stand the investigation and say, okay, Indianness means something, that's much more than a perceived notion of films or like for language or religion. So it's actually about community coming together. It seems like the silence is deafening because nothing's really supported that. There hasn't been a support group around you. What's your biggest frustration with the community? Especially given your role, because obviously as a parent, you know, you look at being a parent as you are the custodian for your children. You're trying to
Of
equip them
course.
best for tomorrow. But then,
My biggest frustration is the way people treat us. I don't want anything from anyone. It's just nice occasionally to have someone to talk to. We don't have that. People are not willing to, if we're walking down the street, people are not willing to stop and talk to us when Dia's with us. And that's, at the best of times, very difficult to deal with, because you see someone you know, sort of you wave at them and sort of smile, and they'll either completely blank you as if you're not there and sort of turn away, or they'll sort of wave and sort of walk the other way. I don't understand why people are so afraid of a child with a disability. Possibly they're scared, I don't know, because it's not a disability that can be seen. So maybe they're just afraid of the way Dia might react around them. All Dia does is she holds your hand and she sings songs. She doesn't ask you for anything. This is what she does. She just holds your hand. She'll get excited and jump, but she'll make noises where she'll scream or shout. But they're just her showing her happiness and her excitement. People just tend to get afraid. People that have tried to get close to Dia, understand her, are absolutely fine with her. But as I say, I could pretty much count these people on one hand.
what's it? If you don't mind, can I ask you a personal question?
Mm-hmm.
How's the reaction with your own family, relatives? Because I know you said it's tough. You know, you go to weddings, you're there, and they know you well. They'll know, okay. And again, there's no ignorance can be played, because I think in the UK and worldwide there is a lot of attention on autism. People do know what autism is. We can't live in a life of ignorance and say it's just naughty behavior. We know it's there. But with your own
unfortunately,
family,
Rajan, people put it down to naughty behavior. Even in this day and age, it's put down to naughty behavior. When you see someone, they'll say, oh, can't you control her? Why is she behaving like that? Why is she so naughty? Don't you discipline her? We still get this. So it's not that people don't understand. It's hard to say.
hang on, even now you still get this.
Yes, 100%. You spoiled her. My wife gets told that she spoils Thea. You spoiled her, that's why she's like that.
If you don't mind me asking, who says that? Is that random strangers? Is it relatives?
No.
Is it friends or people that you know?
Distant relatives. People that know us know not to say stuff like that directly to us.
Yeah.
We will answer back. But it's distant relatives that we don't really want to speak to. They will say, oh, what's wrong with her? Innu ki hoya? ਏਦਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ? ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੰਭਾਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ? ਬੱਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੰਭਲਦਾ? Stuff like this. We go to weddings. We've been told at a wedding to take her away. And this was a very close family wedding. We got told to take Dia away because she was spoiling the ceremony. And this was a very close relative.
How do you deal with it, Rahul? Because you've got, as you said, your circle of connection with people is small. There's a lot of stress on you as a father, as a husband, as a son. obviously with your mother, it's a lot of pressure on your back and on your head. And on top of that, you're working, you're going out there, you're trying to do the best that you can. Surely there's only so much a person can take, right? Like, what drives you? How are you still able to do what you do? Because we're just to put it, you're still a young guy. You know, it's
I don't know is the answer, Rajan. I don't know. My wife must be at this point in time knows me better than anyone else in this world. It's because we've been pushed into being together so much, and I spoke to her earlier on this year, and I said to her, I said sometimes what I feel like doing is taking myself, my wife, and my 3 daughters in the car and going for a drive, but driving straight off a cliff and killing us all because we have nothing to live for. Literally, I'm that frustrated that more than once I've contemplated taking my life. But me dying will not benefit my girls or my wife. And that's what stops me. But I can hand on heart tell you plenty of times I've thought about it. And I spoke to my wife and she was shocked because in front of her I tend to be the strong one. She was like, I can't believe that you've thought like that. And I'm like, so many times I've genuinely thought that I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want a normal life, but I just want a life. At this point in time, me, my wife, and my 2 daughters, younger daughters, have no life. My younger daughters, I have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. Yeah. They cannot have friends come to their house. They cannot go to anyone's house. No one in my family takes them for weekends away. Nothing. They're here, they live with us, and they're stuck in the same situation as us. And you get stuck in a rut where every single day is the same. Some days Dia sleeps 2 hours. Other days she sleeps 3 hours, and we have to stay awake during that time. She's awake. And then we go to work. We come home and it starts again. The girls fall behind in their studies because we are so busy helping Dia. And they are like, what about us? What about us, Dad? What about us, Mum? When are you going to show us some time? When are you going to take me out, Dad? When are you going to take me out, Mum? When are you going to help me with my studies, Mum? And it's just, they're not big demands. They're just a demand that any child would have from their parents. But as parents, we can't give them what they want because we're so busy with Dia. And it's just difficult. Day in, day out, it's just so difficult. Dealing with life on a daily basis is so difficult.
Yeah.
You mentioned weddings. We go to weddings, people see us, oh, we should get together, we should do this, we should do that. We're like, okay, yeah. The moment you leave the venue, you don't hear from these people again until you go to another wedding. Mm. And then, oh, yeah, how are you doing? Oh, look at you, yeah, all good. We turn up to weddings because people speak rudely about us if we don't. Oh, look at them, they don't want to go, they don't want to keep any rishta. So we go to these weddings. We go there, we smile, we joke and laugh with people, and then we walk away and we're back to our day, what we do at home, sit there, cry, do whatever we need to do just to get through the days.
Yeah. What does, because you are in the thick of the human experience of what it can be in the most terrifyingly real way possible. You're right, there's no respite for you, you're there constantly.
Yeah.
How has that changed your notion before, dear, in terms of identity? Because everyone thinks that you have to have a cultural facade that as other, whatever religious affinity or culture one belongs to, that this is the way that we conduct our behavior, this is the way that we should be, this is the way that we should speak or communicate. How has that changed for you? Because now you're probably thinking all these type of rituals in terms of the social lubricants that we have as Indians, whether it's cultural events or whatever it may be, it's just almost become ritualistic for you, hasn't it? Because there's no purpose, meaning, or passion. Because
No, none
regardless,
whatsoever.
yeah,
We tend not to go anywhere because when we go to places, people just look down at us, look down at Dia. So we end up feeling awkward there anyway. So we tend not to go. When we do go, it's all an act, Rajan.
yeah,
We go there, people expect us to smile, act like everything is okay. So we do that and then we walk away. But we find more often than not now, we're not invited to people's homes and functions anyway now. It's got to that point that people don't even invite us. So,
one for advice to those listening on behalf of a father, a son, a child that you are yourself, to say, this is how I want to be treated, what would it be?
I want to be treated like a human being. The way you treat other humans, the way I treat humans. Just because we have a child with autism doesn't mean that there's something wrong. We want nothing from you other than there's nothing you can offer me to help me with Dia. I just want to be treated like a normal person. When you're out, I want to be invited out. I want you to accept Dia for what she is. She's not an alien. She's a human being. She deserves everything that your children deserve. We're not asking you for anything more. Just offer her a friendly place. She won't bite. She won't do anything to you. That's how we feel, that people seem to think, oh, we can't have her here. She's going to do this, or she might behave like this. Yeah, she may well behave like this, but that's not because she's a brat or she's there to spoil it. That is unfortunately her way of expressing herself. The screams and the jumping and the happiness is her way of expressing that she's really happy to be there.
Yeah.
When she hears music, she gets happy, so she screams and jumps. That's not her trying to spoil your party or your wedding or any function that you've got. It's just her being happy.
It's her form of expression. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the future? How do you feel the future is in store for Dia?
Quite bleak. She has us, which is good because we'll do anything for her. But other than us, she has no one, so
Yeah.
it's not brilliant, no. Her sisters are amazing, no doubt. But we don't want her sisters to stop living their own lives so they can look after Dia. That's unfair. Me and my wife are there for that. We want our daughters to live their life to the fullest. Do what they want, meet who they want. Just live their life. At the moment, the 10-year-old, she gets invited to people's houses for their birthday parties. She'll refuse herself without even speaking to us. Oh no, I need to help you look after Dia. What will Dia do if I'm not there?
So she's almost growing up faster than she should.
Yeah, I laugh. I say she's 10 going on 17. She's a very responsible young lady. She's amazing with Dia, absolutely amazing with Dia. There's times with Dia's full-blown meltdown, lashing out, and she'll put herself at risk. She'll walk in and she'll hold Dia and hug Dia because that calms Dia down. But during that period of calming down, she will hit Anika and she'll smack her on her head, or she'll smack her on her back, or she'll slap her face. And Anika just takes it and says, "Don't worry, Dia, it's okay, I'm here." And you're like, "Baby, you're 10 years old. You shouldn't be doing this." The youngest is still, at times, she gets a bit scared, so she steps away. But Anika, I've never once seen her step away. In fact, she steps in where other people would back out.
What a eye-opening and I suppose perception-building podcast where we have delved into something that I think for most of the time we treat almost as a taboo for our own community. I think it's just surprising. I think the last sentence really does get to me, is the fact that a 10-year-old girl does step in when most other people are too scared to do so. I think that's ultimately also reflected in some cases for ourselves, and I think it's quite a reflective thing to ask ourselves, saying, how are we going to do? What are we going to do next time we see a situation like this? As you can hear from Rahul's voice, it's not easy being a human being for one, but being a human being under this much stress takes its toll. So my hope, and I suppose that of our guest Rahul, is to say, next time you see something like this, rather than reach for the phone, which I'm sure you wouldn't, or rather than reach for judgment, which I'm sure you wouldn't either, is actually look for empathy and say, how too can I make a difference to support another human being in this journey called life? As always, if you'd like to find out more about the Global Indian series, it couldn't be easier. Regardless of what you listen to this on, simply check out our website, www.globalindianseries.com. There you can see all the information about us, all the podcasts so far, and see how you too can get involved in shaping this conversation. Until next week, I hope all remains well. Please make sure you share this podcast with other people you feel it could benefit. Take care for now.